Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for Fan Art Friday. So the last 4 weeks, I've been working on a series of Kiss fan art. So we wrapped that up, and as I promised, I want to get back into doing some more kind of fun pop culture type stuff. So we're going to start off with a character who began his career. Well, I guess he began sort of as according to Wikipedia, he was sort of a mascot for a comic book store, I believe, and then he became a comic book hero, star, I guess, and went on from there to become a cartoon character, and then kind of a cult live action character. And I think he's going to make a big comeback pretty soon. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do this. And I'm also doing this sort of as a gift for my nephew. So this week we're gonna do the Tick. So let's get to it. Okay, so welcome to another edition of Fan Art Friday. As you probably can tell, we're starting off a little bit in the middle of this drawing, at least in the pencils. So yeah, something happened. I guess I neglected to record the beginning stages of this piece. Now, if you're familiar, or if you've watched me do these videos, usually I have a little intro. Well, you saw the intro, but you'll notice I didn't hold up the actual picture of the artwork. That's because I don't have it anymore, because I did this as a gift for my nephew, who is a big fan of the Tick, and that's the character that I'm working on here. If you haven't seen the Tick, there's some episodes on YouTube. I suggest you probably check it out because it is a great show. It's hilarious. There's also a live action series that I think it only lasted like a season, but it's got Patrick Warburton, which you probably know his voice. He does a lot of like voiceover stuff and on camera. He does some on camera stuff. He was in Seinfeld and everything. If you see, and I think he's been in sitcoms and things like that too, but I don't really watch a lot of sitcoms, but anyway, yeah. So the live action show is pretty good too, and I think that might be on Netflix. And it's kind of like a cult thing. I mean, the comic book character itself. I mean, I would say it's sort of mainstream. You know, it's based on a comic, and then the cartoon was pretty big at the time. But I think the live action felt kind of flat. But then, like a lot of things that happened that kind of gained that cult status. Over the years, people have discovered it and everything, and there's just so many things like that. Looking back, that just didn't really take off at the time. But I think, like I said, I think that's on Netflix, and I think Netflix is planning on reviving that series. I don't know if they're getting the same cast members involved or whatever, but I'm looking forward to that because it is it's a really funny show. I mean, there's a lot of shows that came out like in the era where the Tick came out that are kind of fall into this same vein of like this irreverent hero. It's just ridiculous. And like another one that's really good is Earthworm Jim, and that one's pretty good. And a lot of people follow. Oh man, why can't I'm blanking on the name of the artist of Earthworm Jim, but he's done tons of awesome graphic novels and everything, and I've read a bunch of them. And his books are really, really good, and he's pretty prolific. He usually puts out a book or two a year. So I'm sorry, I'm just like totally blanking on the name, but it'll come to me, or you can Google it or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, Earthworm Jim was another one. Freakazoid, it kind of came after, it was a Steven Spielberg production. It kind of came after Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all those. But that one was a really good one. Kind of the same thing, just a superhero that's kind of flawed in a lot of ways, but still, but it definitely has good intentions and is still powerful. But yeah, so it's I suggest go check it out on YouTube, the cartoon, if you haven't already seen it. So what's another one? There's another series, I'm trying to remember what it was. It's a little different, but it's kind of the same kind of humor. Sam and Max Freelance Police. That's another one. So I'm just throwing out recommendations for you guys to check out. Some of you guys, if you're a little younger, maybe you're not familiar with these when they came out, but I still think you'd enjoy them because it's almost like the precursor to a lot of the stuff that's on kind of Cartoon Network now, where the humor is just really absurdist and stuff like that. Almost like Not exactly, but I think if you like things like Adventure Time or Uncle Grandpa and those kind of shows, you probably like The Tick and Freakazoid and Sam and Max Freelance Police and stuff like that. So something to check out. But anyway, so I'm just going to turn your attention back to the drawing. Now you'll notice I'm doing this a little differently than I usually do. I'm actually coloring using the Copic markers. I'm coloring them before I put down the inks, which isn't the way I like to work. But when I was drawing this, and like I said, I've drawn this, and I did this a couple weeks ago for my nephew's birthday, and so at the time I ran out of the ink that I use, and so far there's only one ink that I found that works great with Copics as far as not smudging and everything, and that's the Deleter. Deleter is the brand, and it's spelled Deleter. Black number 5, and I think there's some other manga inks. I think the key is that for some reason the inks that they use for manga seems to work really good as far as with the Copic markers, and I haven't found any. And the problem is they're all, you got to get them all from Japan or somebody who has them already shipped from Japan. So it takes a little while to get here. So I just didn't have any. So rather than, you could do it with like regular like Black Magic India ink or Pelican, or there's a number of brands that you can find at craft stores and art supply stores. But you got to be really careful not to smudge, and I just don't like to risk it. So anyway, so I decided to kind of sketch everything out, then put the inks or put the colors in, and then I'll come back in with I think I used Black Magic for this. When we come back, you'll see that. But it's, to me, it's always easier because it's like a coloring book if you can ink it first and then go back and fill in the colors. But you don't want the smudge, especially for something that this is going to be a gift and everything. I just wanted it to look good and everything. So yeah. Anyway, so but I was talking about the inks, the manga inks. If you can find those, I'm sure there's other ones that work well, but yeah, really, that's the only thing that I found that works with the Copic markers. Now I've seen other people, they'll use the Copic multi-liner, which is it's basically like a black brush. I don't know if it's a brush tip or if it's just I think it's just a pen, but it's kind of got a flexible tip, so you can get some different line weights and things on that. A lot of people use those, but I don't know. I'm partial to, as you can see right now, I'm partial to using the dip, a brush and dipping in the ink and everything. I've used like the Pentel Pocket brush. I do that. I've used that for inking. That's really good as far as portable, but it seems like the results can vary on that. Sometimes I can get a real clean line, and sometimes the ink wants to come out too fast or whatever. When I first started using it, I really loved it, and then all of a sudden it's kind of I started having issues with it. So I really should mess around with that again, because I need to practice more with the brush pen, because for conventions and things like that, and I've got some conventions coming up and all that stuff. So anyway, I just want to say, if you're new to this channel, I just started doing a series of videos based on some characters that I used to work on for a video game, or a social media game. Not social, what do you call it? So just a social, like a casual game. It started off as a Facebook game. Now you can play it on mobile and everything, I believe, or a different version of it on mobile. But yeah, so there's a pretty big fan base with that game, and I noticed some of you guys have started to follow me. So if you did follow me through the Miscrits series that I'm doing, and you're watching this, thanks. I appreciate it. Appreciate you checking out other stuff that I'm doing. So I've been doing these Fan Art Friday videos every Friday for the most part, and then every once in a while I'll do some sketch time, which is kind of my own original stuff. So yeah, check out some of that stuff too. But anyway, so the last series I did was Kiss. I did all 4 original members of Kiss, and I actually sold all those pieces. And I don't mention this enough, but I was talking to some artist friends of mine, and they were saying, you should mention that you can buy this artwork and everything, because I'll bring these to shows and everything. I'll sell them there, but I don't often mention that you can actually purchase them. But so if you are interested in anyone, like I said, this one was a gift, so that one's not available. The Kiss ones I did, they're gone. But there's a lot. If you just kind of go scroll through my old videos, if you find a character you like, a lot of those are still available. And you can just contact me via email. I'm at scott@circworks.com, and I'll give you a price on that and everything. And but yeah, a lot of that artwork is still available. So, and also if you guys have requests or things that you'd like me to draw. It's not necessarily like a commission. Like it's not. I mean, I guess you could request a commission and I can draw it, and then you could, I could sell it to you. But even if even if maybe you don't have the money or you're not interested in buying the artwork, but you want to see me draw a character, I'm always looking for suggestions of characters to draw. So you just throw a suggestion in the comment section, and I might tackle that on a future Fan Art Friday video. So anyway, about to wrap this one up. Again, so the next one I'll do. I'm glad I got a brand new container of the ink that I like. So next time I'll start doing doing the inks first and then coloring in. So, but yeah, it's been a while. The last ones I've done have all been black and white, so it's nice to kind of do a color version. But anyway, so I am going to wrap this up. Thanks for you new guys that are following me. Again, send your suggestions, leave your comments, let me know what you think, like the videos, subscribe, and I'll be back next week with another Fan Art Friday video, and possibly even something that you suggested. So leave those suggestions, and I'll see you later, and that is all.